It looks like the first snow of the year. Time to go shovel some snow. Finally, looks like with the new set of memory, we're passing mem test. This has been running for a couple of days. Day and a half. Time to put the computer into the case. Okay, the computer seems to be working. So let's take it all apart and put it into the case. Disconnect everything to the power supply. Let's disconnect the video card. SATA cable. Disconnect the keyboard. PCIe, the PC power supply for the CPU, the big plug for the CPU motherboard. Now disconnected. Power supply is all disconnected. Let's get this keyboard rolling. The PC case. First things first, make sure you install the I/O shield. Because once the motherboard is in, you won't be able to easily put this in. You have to take the motherboard back out. So it just slides in. Work to the side here. Turn off autofocus. Okay. Take off the glass on the other side too. Line it up and push it firmly in. It's a little tricky sometimes. Okay, that looks like it's fully in. Here in the case, there's a cosmetic cover held in thumb screw and hooks in to cover up your cable connections, make it look prettier. And we'll need the motherboard screws to hold the motherboard in. There are going to be components somewhere hidden. Look in the back here. We got here a box of parts. If it wants to come out. Box of hardware, some instructions, there's a fan connector here for multiple fans, and it's a fan speed controller. There's a switch on the top for high speed, off, or low speed. We've got some SSD mounting trays, and I guess you could also mount a 2.5-inch hard drive, laptop style size drive. And we're looking for the screws to mount the motherboard. We have extra brass standoffs, I guess, if you needed them. We'll double check what we have. And here are the motherboard screws, actually labeled on the little bag. Extra long screws. These are hard drives. let's see. Turn this back around. As you can see, there are standoffs here. Space the motherboard off the metal base so it's not shorting out the bottom of the motherboard. You're going to need 9 screws in the motherboard. 3, 6, 9. They give you 12. In case you have the extra long motherboard and you put more of those posts in. Let's see if we can put this motherboard in standing up so you can see. So we're going to take this motherboard and it goes here, lining up the holes in the I/O shield. And let's see if it lines up with the posts. It's not quite lining up. This I/O shield is really puffy, kind of holding it away. I want to make sure the I/O shield is in all the way, and it does look like it is in all the way. So that's as good as it's going to get. Right, I'm going to have to lay this down just so I don't have to hold it up while pushing it backwards. Start some of these screws so the motherboard stays in place. But don't tighten them all the way yet. Okay, now they seem lined up, so I'm tightening it down to keep that compressed in on the I/O shield here. Okay, so far we got 4 screws in. Now let's do the rest of them. Okay, they're all in. Okay, let's see what this in the rear. You loosen this thumb screw and you can slide this up. And figure out which bracket the video card lines up with. It's probably the top two. So we're gonna slide this up. You can still reach in with the screwdriver here. And unscrew the two screws. Holding these metal covers in. Save the screws because you're going to use it to hold the video card in. And save these little bracket things in case you take a card out and need to cover the hole back up. So let's see, we'll put the video card in a little while. It kind of blocks is in the way here, so let's see if we put this SATA cable in. Through the hole to the back where the SATA drive is going to be, the SSD. Later on, you're going to connect another SSD cable here to run up to, well, actually the optical drives. There is no spot for them, so you won't be installing the optical drive. You might, if you're going to use that, you have to put it in an external enclosure. All right, let's put the power supply in. Get these other cables out of the way. You can put your hard drives here, 1, 2, potentially 3, but there's only 2 trays for 3.5-inch hard drives. This is the bracket at the bottom that holds the heatsink, the CPU cooler. So they have this hole in the motherboard tray, so you can change it without having to take out the motherboard if you needed to. Here's the power supply. You're going to install the power supply, so the fan. The fan here, the power supply has its own compartment, so the fan is going to be pointed toward the bottom, and there's a filter at the bottom here of the case for the dust. It gets sucked into this power supply. For the air that gets sucked into the power supply and the dust. Hopefully not as much. Okay, now it came with screws for the power supply also. Nice black screws to match everything else that's black, as opposed to standard silver screws that came with the power supply. They give you 5 screws. You normally only use 4. Again, line up the screws before tightening them all the way. unless you have to hold it in place like the motherboard needed to be. And you visually line up the holes, and hopefully it lines up. Here, we could just put all the screws in. And now tighten them down. Check, is this a threaded hole? Maybe not. Let's use this one. This is threaded. Okay, power supply's in. And we gotta figure out how to run these two to the front. If that one goes to up here, so let's put it through here. Put it in place. Bend these wires down without putting too much stress on the connector there, because the cover that we had before, this cover, is going to cover that stuff up. Can't have the wire in the way. Now this second motherboard power connector is up here. So we're going to run the wire up through here. And get it connected. Now you have a space up here for a radiator if you had water cooling for either the CPU or the GPU or whatnot. Some people put the radiator here, some people put it there.